What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We got another Victory at Sea unboxing for you today. We got the Royal Navy Fleet, so one of the first wave releases here, one of the four core nations for the game. So again, being a fleet starter, there's plenty of stuff in here. We get 8 different ships, including an aircraft carrier. So as we see here, Eagle, Duke of York, Neptune, Belfast, Dido, and then 3 tribal destroyers, and some flights of the ferry swordfishes. So again, Warlord always does a good job with these box sets. You get quite a bit of bang for your buck here, especially in such a small, relatively small box. So we're going to get this open for you guys, get everything opened up and cleaned up, and then show you guys what's inside. So we'll be right back. Alrighty, guys, we are back. We got everything open up, and again, you get quite a bit of stuff in any of these starter sets from Warlord. So we got a sheet on assembly here for the various ships in the set, working with Warlord resin kits, the usual little insert there. A little code here for World of Warships Legends, so very cool that they partnered with that in the initial wave. All the little tab slider things for the stat cards for like damage and stuff like that, although a lot of people, again, will just use like 10-sided dice or something to represent that. Whole chunk of stat cards. We'll get to those in a moment. And then we get our metal bits for the various ships here. So just kind of zoom in there. And you're not mistaken, those are 4 barrel turrets. That's for the Duke of York, and 1 double barrel turret. Really cool on that ship. Again, we get some more components here. These are the ferry swordfish planes here. So again, if you want to field biplanes in World War II, this is your jam right here. Then you should play Royal Navy. So really cool on those. And then here we get our ships. And so it was a mix with pretty much this first wave of stuff, the starter fleets. Where, as you can see, there's slightly different colors in the resin here, and so there was a little bit of a I'm not going to say controversy, but like a little bit of an issue there where some of the types of resin that Warlord was using were like a little bit less crisp in the details, or there were some issues with some of that. Now the best stuff, which I think they've switched to full time now, is this very lighter light gray resin here. Sorry, these guys and this. That's definitely top of the line, no issues, and just absolutely gorgeous detail. Some of the darker resins here, like on a lot of the destroyers, seemingly in the initial sets. Let me get that zoomed in for you guys properly there, or focused in. Just seemed to have some issue where if you really get close on some of those ships, the detail was just still pretty good, but just seemed to be a little less sharp than the good stuff here on the light gray resin. But like I said, they seem to have gone with that full time, and at least in this starter set here doesn't really seem to be any issues. But anyway, so these are all the ships you get. Again, you get 4 flight stands of the ferry swordfishes, and then the fish, and then 8 of the ships here. So we get 3 different cruisers, and interestingly, compared to the other navies where you get like multiple ships of the same class for the most part, and the Royal Navy one here has like 3 different ones altogether. So we'll talk about that in a minute. We got our battleship here again, Duke of York, just fantastic beast of a battleship here. British carrier, then 3 of these tribal destroyers here. So let's bring one of these guys in close so you can kind of see what we're talking about. So again, the details there is just like a little less sharp or defined, it seems, compared to some of the other lighter resin. But anyway, these are these tribal destroyers. So pretty good overall. And again, no specific names to them just because there were so many on the destroyers. So anyway, good stuff there. Then we get into the cruisers. So here we have, if we can get this to focus, this is the HMS Belfast. So 1942 version there. And again, really good stuff here. This is the good resin. So as you can see, everything just seems nicer and more crisp. Again, all the turret rings, secondary guns, all that stuff, very well defined, even life rafts and stuff. So this is the Edinburgh class cruiser. Again, British, at least so far, mainly like light cruisers in this starter set, but again, they're all pretty well, pretty fantastic overall. Then, if we can get this properly here, so then we have the HMS Neptune, 1941 here, and again, another fantastic light cruiser. I think this is the or this is a light cruiser, and then yeah, Leander class. Yeah, this is excellent. We'll talk more about that when we get to the stat cards, but Absolutely love the Leander class. Just a jack of all trades that can, in some instances, also punch well above its weight. So this thing should definitely feast on other light cruisers and destroyers specifically as well. And it's got the torps to also do some damage to the big boys. And then the Dido, which I believe was the anti-air cruiser. We'll double check when we get to the stat cards. But again, another fantastic ship there. And you can actually see 5 turret rings for that thing, which is really cool. And again, pretty much no issues with anything in the casting here. Just a minuscule amount of flash, but just absolutely fantastic stuff there from Warlord. Then we get to the chunky Duke of York here. Just an absolute beast. So in contrast to things like the Warspite, which we did an unboxing for as well, the Warspite had 15-inch guns, but in 4 double turrets. This one has slightly smaller guns, but has 2 quad turrets and then a double turret. So just an absolute beast. Although this thing has, like, I think, really fantastic armor, which we'll get to in just a bit. But, just going to look amazing once you get all the bits on there and everything. And again, just super crisp on those details. Let's see if we can, how close we can get and still keep it kind of in focus. So you can see all the secondary guns there, life rafts and boats and other stuff. So just absolutely fantastic. So King George V class, this is definitely going to be one of your mainstays in your fleet for duking it out with your opponents. And then the British carrier here, the Eagle. So not going to be the biggest and best of the carriers. That's really going to be the domain of the U.S. and the Japanese, but nonetheless a solid carrier. But we'll get to the stats here in just a bit. So again, just absolutely gorgeous details. Look at all that on the sides there. Just amazing that they're able to like get that those inner details working there. And even from the rear, if we can get that to somewhat focus. So some of the secondary guns and stuff are kind of tucked away and inside here, but you can kind of see those. So just absolutely gorgeous. All right, so let's get some of that out of the way and let's take a dive here, a quick dive into the stat cards. And again, this is just an unboxing. We're not like really doing a review, but we'll mention some things here and there. So again, Leander class, really love this cruiser. Let us know in the comments too, since this has been out for a while. We just now got our fleet. But let us know what your guys' experience has been with playing the Royal Navy so far. Good, bad, other ships you hope that will be coming out. And if you played against them, let us know. What's what you found easy to deal with versus the Royal Navy, or where they've kind of been able to outplay or outmatch you so far. But anyway, Leander class, 120 points, solid speed of 6, solid armor for what it is. Only 18 hull. So again, if you do receive some solid incoming fire, it's you're not going to last that long. But it is a light cruiser. So agile aircraft 1 and sub hunter, and then on the Leander specifically, you can slightly bump up your hull for 1 extra hull point there for 5 points. Is it worth it? Again, let us know in the comments what your experience has been so far. And then on the Ajax, Leander, Neptune, and Orion, you can also replace the light guns as follows. So you can go with 8 4-inch guns, basically doubling up for 10 points. And then that bumps the stats a little bit there. But anyway, so these Leanders come with 4 twin 6-inch turrets, pretty solid all around. The key thing with these guys are they have fast track and twin linked, so definitely well suited to hunting down other fast movers and specifically like feasting on destroyers and things like that. So it doesn't take much to necessarily sink any destroyers, but you got to be able to hit them too, and that will help you there. The standard light battery there, as you can see, nothing all that amazing, but again, it's a light cruiser, so it's not going to have that vast of an array of light guns. So in that sense, maybe the upgrade up above would be worth it for the 10 points. A little bit of an AA battery, and again, as you can imagine, most of the upgrades or refits, we should say, are mainly concerned with bumping up AA. And then the little hidden secret of these Leanders, packing a nasty little surprise here. We got a set of port and starboard Mark 9 torps, 4 attack dice, 3 damage dice, devastating in 1 shot as normal, and they reach out to 12 inches at the extreme band there. So definitely something that you can use to finish off crippled ships or whatever, put that serious damage on something, or certainly provide a little bit of a surprise for somebody who gets potentially a little too close to you. So, if you got like get a little bit too close for comfort to like an enemy battleship or something like that, you could certainly give them a little bit of a scare with that. So, flipping over, but also useful for getting in on like something like a carrier if it was actually on the board. But anyway, so real speed 32.5 knots. We see that they have the Achilles, the Ajax, the Leander, Neptune, and Orion. And then we got the Achilles refits there, as you can see, Ajax and Leander, Neptune and Orion. So they've kind of got it broken down by ship over the years. And as you can imagine, by and large, the mostly concerned with adding AA, but also getting things like radar and increasing, as we can see there, like middle of the card here, like increasing the range bands on like torps, for example, with the Ajax. Like, so lots of little goodies here. You just got to kind of figure out what you want to accomplish with the various ships of the class here. But overall, just a solid ship. Honestly, one of the best light cruisers, at least in my opinion so far. Just a great combination of guns, speed. The fast track ability is really cool on those main guns. And then the fact that it has the torps as well, just to go with everything. So really solid, great, I think, fit for the British fleet. Then next up is the King George V class battleship, clocking in at 600 points. So it's not a speedy battleship, but armor of 7 up, 7 plus there. 89 hull, breaking at 29. It's got aircraft 2, armored deck, radar, and a torpedo belt 3. So just definitely can take some damage and keep on kicking there and dishing it out as well. So as we mentioned earlier, it's got slightly smaller guns than things like the Warspite, but makes up for that a little bit with the 2 quad turrets there, and then the double B turret. So still 4 dice for the big boy turrets, plus 2 AP on the whole thing, and damage dice 3. So nothing, no special traits or anything, but again, just a good solid ship that can dish it out and certainly bounce a lot of shots potentially too, and a decent enough spread of hull points to where you should be able to slug it out with some people, some opponents there. And depending on what's going on in the battle and stuff like that, certainly if there's no other targets, this thing can certainly feast on cruisers that it's able to hit, and rapidly rack up crits and stuff like that. It's got a pretty solid array of light guns as well. So 16 5.25 guns. They're also dual purpose, restricted and weak as you might expect as normal, reaching out to a pretty respectable extreme range there. And then initially, at least, a AA battery of local 6. And as, again, you might expect, most of the refits are going to be concerned with that. So we have the ships of the class here. We have the Anson, Duke of York, which is what we get here, the Howe, King George V itself, and then the Prince of Wales. So, and again, I like that Warlord's breaking these down by ship and then years, as opposed to just kind of like a giant jumble here, which I think was the case on some of the cards for some of the other fleets. But again, as you can see here, mostly concerned with bumping up A batteries like local 10, 12, 11, whatever is all on here, but also adding like advanced radar, sub hunter, and different things there, and in other ways beefing up again AA abilities there. And some of the upgrades do range kind of significantly here, like the King George V. A whole lot of upgrades here, but an extra 100 points to upgrade things like that. So but overall, just a good solid core on the as far as the battleships are concerned for the British. So, and who knows what else we'll be getting down the road. Again, Warspite was released. We have a separate video on that. Not quite as heavy of a brawler, I believe, as the King George V, but in that sense, the guns are also 15 inches as well. So, but the fact that the Brits already here have 2 different battleships is pretty solid. And like I said, we should be getting some more releases here and there as the waves continue to roll out slowly for Victory at Sea. But definitely can't go wrong with fielding this, certainly. So moving on, we have the Eagle class fleet carrier. And I will confess I don't know that much about these historically, but so 110 points initially here. So flank speed of 4, armor 3, hull of 54. It's got carrier, torpedo belt 2, and comes with 5 flights, or is able to field 5 flights. And then a light gun, let's see here, 4 4-inchers. Only 1 attack dice may be fired into the front or aft of arcs, of course, on those. And it's also got a battery of 6-inch guns. So The 6 inchers are restricted and weak, and then the 4 inchers are at least dual purpose and weak. But decent little range bands for being what they are. So at least it can defend itself a little bit if ships were getting too close, and if you actually have this on the table as opposed to off map. And then a local AA battery of 3, at least to start with. So again, not the biggest or most advanced. Or heavily armored or armed of the carriers. Again, sort of the big boy carriers are going to be with the U.S. Navy and the Japanese, and we'll get things later on, like hopefully Midway and other things like that. So, but that being said, British carriers here will definitely do some work for you and give you that ability to have that air arm of your fleets. But a lot of the British, I think, strengths here, at least initially, are going to be with those battleships and the just superlative light cruisers that they have, at least at the start here. So commissioned back in 1924, speed of 22 and a half, only one ship of the class, seemingly conversion from a seaplane carrier of the ex-Chilean battleship Almirante Cochrane. So yeah, and only one refit here apparently. So, but we add radar and increase AA to local 4 for 25 points, which seems like a decent enough bargain with these things only being 110 initially. But for those who have played the Royal Navy, with or against it, let us know in the comments, guys. What have your experiences been with the Eagle class carriers? Like I said, I actually just don't know too much about these historically. So, but how have they been in the game for you guys? Drop us a comment. Let us know. All right, moving on. So we have the Dido class AA cruiser. This thing's just super fun, it seems. So only 14 hull. So again, pretty much everything in this starter on the carrier, or not carrier, cruiser side is our light carrier, or gosh, cruisers. So a little bit fragile there, but these things can definitely punch as well. So it's got 8 5.25 guns, only 2 from the front or aft. But again, when you're able to get those side shots, that's where you bring everything to bear. So let's see, 90 points to start with, flank speed of 6, 3 up armor of only the 14 hull. So again, if you do get some hits coming against you, you're probably going to get crippled pretty quick. It has agile, radar, and sub hunter to start with, which is pretty cool. Whoops. And here, so we have again 8 5.25 guns, respectable range there, 4 attack dice going out there, dual purpose and weak. Got 1 4-inch gun for reasons, but let's see, dual purpose, slow loading, and weak there. AA battery of local 2, but again, keep in mind all the other main guns are also dual purpose. And then it does also pack a nasty little surprise with some Mark 9 torpedoes, which range out to 12. Again, good stuff there. Certainly not a brawler, being a light cruiser, but definitely can help whittle down incoming flights and then still pour out some damage on other lighter things. So would have been interesting to have here. I don't think we got it. If the main turrets would have had something like fast track, like on the Leanders, that would have made these absolutely deadly. But anyway, what do we got here? So real speed of 32.2 knots. Looks like there was the Bonaventure, the Dido, and the Phoebe. And it looks like we can remove radar on the Bonaventure and Phoebe. Changing some of the light gun things here. Dido specifically here, so going up to 10 5.25 guns. So only 3 may be fired into the front arc and 2 into the aft arc. So some of the specific just differences between the ships of the class. So, and again, we get the Dido here. So we actually have 10 5.25. That's pretty sweet. Then looks like, interestingly, so the Bonaventure, we decrease it by 10 points initially, but then we can add it back on essentially to get radar back. In 1941, the Dido, looks like we can also bump up the light guns there, and getting rid of that seemingly unnecessary 1 4-inch gun there. Dido, we can increase the range on the Mark 9s. That's bonkers, up to 14. Good stuff there. Phoebe, add radar, remove the 4-inch gun, and also bump up local AA. So as you might expect. being an anti-air carrier or cruiser, certainly being able to bump that up even more is good. Phoebe changing the AA bands and bumping that up there. That's nice. And also increasing the torpedo range. Excellent. Love it. Interestingly, that the Dido, or sorry, the Bonaventure did not get the torp upgrade at all. Interesting there. If anybody knows the history of the class or the ships there, let us know. That'd be interesting to learn a little bit more on there, since we didn't get any little blurb here on the back on that. But definitely seems pretty cool. Certainly bumping up the torpedoes to that range. Brits definitely have the good torps there. So seems like another great light cruiser at the outset here for the British. So again, a little bit glass cannon effect there, but hopefully your battleship or ships, depending on how many of those you got already, will draw most attention and fire there, so that you can unleash with your cruisers here. We also have the Edinburgh class light cruiser here, so clocking in at 130 points. This is a sort of the beefier one of the initial set here. Flank speed 6, armor 3, 26 hull, aircraft 3 to start with. It's got 4 triple 6-inch turrets, so definitely a little bit more firepower than the other two, the Leander and then the Dido class here. 2 attack dice each, -1 AP, 1 damage dice, but they all have fast track as well, so just absolutely should be feasting on other fast movers. That's really good stuff there. Also 12 4-inch guns to go with that, also being dual purpose, restricted and weak, of course, but 6 dice there, and also ranging out to 20. So again, just lots of solid firepower there. AA local 3 to start with, but also again packing those wonderful Mark 9 torpedoes that all the British light cruisers seem to have. And real speed of 32.5 knots. A little bit of history there. It looks like just the Belfast and the Edinburgh were the ships of the class. Edinburgh concerned with bumping up local AA, but also radar. Belfast looks like it got a little bit more hull, so that's kind of cool. I think we get the Edinburgh in the set here. But nonetheless, Belfast is seemingly pretty cool here. Add radar, increase local AA, solid chunk of points there. Also adding Sub Hunter and bumping up AA again. And then let's see what happens in 45 here. Remove aircraft, add advanced radar, nice. Decrease light guns to 8 4-inchers, sure. And attack dice 4, but increase AA range bands, attack dice 1, and local 8 for 25 points, nice. So overall, again, another fantastic light cruiser. Certainly would make a case that British definitely have, at least at the outset of the game here, and for at least certain periods of the war, superlative light cruisers that almost a little jack of all trade kind of. So lots of great firepower. Fast track is fantastic for dealing with other annoying little ships. If nothing else, also just has that nasty little surprise there of the Mark 9 torpedoes that you can dish out. So all around, yeah, definitely love the British light cruisers. And then, as we saw, we get the 3 tribals. So 35 points here on the light guns. Only 2 from the front or aft, of course. Flank speed of 7, only armor 1. Again, it's a destroyer, not much in the way of armor. 5 hull, breaking at 2. It does have Sub Hunter. Again, we're getting submarines soon for the game, so that's going to be real fun. Adding that, so the 4.7-inch guns, again, solid range for what those are. 4 attack dice out of the either side. Weak, as you might expect. AP of -2, so going to be a little bit rough, pushing some damage through sometimes. Local 1 for AA, but does have the port starboard torpedo turret there. And again, those wonderful, wonderful Mark 9 torps. And then let's see on the back what we get. So quite a few ships of the class there. Real speed of 36 knots. And we're not going to go through all of these here, but it seems like mostly concerned with modifying the light guns a little bit, changing some of the range bands, radar, as you might expect, and then also local AA. And yeah, it looks like a lot of it is, again, radar and AA upgrades there. So those are the tribals. That is everything in the set, guys. Let us know again what your experience has been with Royal Navy so far. Good, bad, successes with playing them, styles that you've been able to develop, and if you've played against the Royal Navy, what do you find easy to deal with? What do you find difficult? Uh, uh, Depending on what fleet you're playing, of course, as their opponent. What works well so far. Again, we've only gotten through a wave or so of the game after the initial releases, so there's more that will develop. But yeah, let us know in the comments, guys, what you think, and then if you could leave us a like and subscribe as well, really appreciate that. Helps the channel, and also if you really want to support the channel even more, check the link below in the description. If you guys go on Warlord site and pick up anything there, that definitely helps us as well. So another great way to support the channel and keep us going on content. And in the meantime, thanks so much for stopping by again, guys. We will have more for you soon. Take care.